The day I got the terminal stomach cancer diagnosis was my third wedding anniversary with Simon Shaw. On the phone, Anya's delicate, tinkling laughter echoed in the background. "Simon," I said, my voice unnervingly calm. "Let's get a divorce?" He snorted. "What game are you playing now, Suzanne?" Later, I vanished without a trace. He tore the world apart looking for me. When he finally found me, I was sheltered in the gentle care of another man. He knelt before me, forehead split and bleeding on the floor. "Sue, I was wrong. Come home with me." I linked my arm with the man beside me, my voice devoid of any ripple. "Mr. Shaw, do you think someone who's already died once cares about you anymore?" The date on my phone screen burned my eyes as I clutched the flimsy terminal diagnosis, our third wedding anniversary. I dialed Simon. The background noise was a chaotic roar, pierced by a woman's laugh, light, charming, a needle plunging straight into my eardrum. "What?" "I'm busy." His voice, thick with its usual impatience, my fingers, icy cold, tightened on the paper. It weighed nothing, yet felt like a mountain crushing every hope for my future. A sharp cramp seized my stomach, forcing a gasp into the receiver. My voice was barely a whisper. "Simon, I want a divorce." Dead silence on the line. A few seconds later, he let out a derisive snort, dripping with scorn. "Suzanne, what bullshit is this now? Another stunt to drag me home? How many times this month?" He sounded like he was scolding a petulant child. I didn't answer, just ended the call. Yes, before it had been a stunt. This time, it was real. My phone buzzed, a text from him. "Stop this, okay? I need to stay with Anya tonight. She's scared alone." Anya. The name was a knife dipped in poison. Staring into the heavy darkness outside the window, I gave a silent, humorless laugh. "Simon, if I died, would you feel even a flicker of sadness?" The thought was instantly shredded by another, fiercer wave of pain clawing my insides. My phone screen lit again, a photo from him. A dazzling diamond necklace nestled in velvet. A card beside it read, "Happy 3rd anniversary." The design? I'd mentioned it casually in a store 2 years ago. His next message popped up. "It's yours. Stop sulking." I stared at the cold stones. All I could see was Anya wearing them, nestled against his chest. My stomach heaved violently. Sharp pain made me clamp a hand over my mouth to stifle a cry. Late that night, I curled like a ghost on the living room sofa, surrounded by silence. The lock finally clicked. The heavy scent of alcohol and Anya's signature cloying perfume flooded in. He stumbled in the dark, fumbling, then suddenly grabbed me, pulling me close. His hot breath scorched my neck as he slurred, "Anya, don't be mad. I'm home, see?" His warm body pressed against mine, but only an icy chill seeped from my bones, freezing me rigid. "I know it's hard. Just wait. Soon, I'll give you a real place." His sweet nothings, once honey I'd dreamed of, now scraped my bones like knives. He held me like that, babbling cheap promises. Time blurred. He stirred, seeming to sober slightly in the faint light from the window. He finally saw my face. In that instant, the drunken tenderness drained from his eyes, replaced by pure, naked disgust. "You." He jerked back as if burned, his look openly contemptuous. His gaze landed on the signed divorce papers on the coffee table. He snatched them up, skimmed a line, then curled his lip in that familiar, scornful sneer, right before my eyes. His hands clenched. Rip, rip, rip. The pages disintegrated into a blizzard of confetti in his fists. "Suzanne, your stunts are getting pathetic." His voice rose, edged with malice. "I'm warning you. Don't bother me with this crap. Anya's fragile. She needs me." He turned to leave, then stopped, throwing words over his shoulder without looking back. "Clean up this garbage." Shreds of paper littered the floor like pieces of my heart. I slowly knelt, picking them up one by one, my fingers trembling violently. I don't know how long I crawled there before pushing myself up using the coffee table. I walked to his bedroom door and knocked softly. No response. I leaned my forehead against the cold wood, my voice a sigh. "Simon, I'm not joking." Silence answered me, dragging leaden feet away. Another savage cramp tore through me, worse than ever. I doubled over on the sofa, drenched in cold sweat, teeth chattering. The phone's shrill ring shattered the silence. An unknown number. My shaking hand answered. A detached female voice said, "Ms. Suzanne Shaw? This is Ray in Oncology Hospital. Your chemotherapy appointment is scheduled for tomorrow at a.m. Shall we hold the bed?" Thud. The phone slipped from my numb fingers onto the carpet. Almost simultaneously, his door flew open. Simon stood there, brow furrowed, radiating annoyance. "Who the hell are you calling at this hour?" He didn't wait for an answer. His voice shot up, furious. "Get out. Go to the guest room. Stop this dying act." With a final, thunderous slam, the door nearly hit my face. The next day, I went to the hospital alone. The cost for the pre-chemo tests quoted at the payment window turned my blood cold. I pulled out my phone, intending to transfer funds from our joint account. I entered the password. The screen flashed a glaring red warning. Account frozen. I froze, fingers stiff, tried again. The cold, red alert persisted. Outside, the wind sliced my face. I called Simon. He answered after many rings, Anya's distinctive, bright laughter clear in the background. "What now?" His voice was distant, dismissive. "Why is our joint account frozen?" My voice was dry, silence then, defensive justification. I froze it. A pause, condescension dripping. "Suzanne, your spending's out of control. Shaw, money isn't for you to waste. From now on, send me a list of all household expenses. I'll approve them. I need it for hospital bills." I cut in, "Hospital bills?" He sounded incredulous, his tone instantly sharp with impatience. "What scheme is this now? Send me the damn bill. Let me see if it's real." A wave of crushing humiliation swamped me. My hands shook violently around the phone. I hung up, folding the diagnosis. I tucked it into my bag. Then, I turned down a shabby alley near the hospital and pushed open the door of a dimly lit pawnshop. I slammed my mother's only legacy, a pair of warm, milky white jade bracelets, onto the cold glass counter. "Pawn them." My voice was flat, devoid of inflection. The meager sum just covered the cold, sterile tests. Clutching the flimsy receipt, I sat on a hard hospital bench. My stomach revolted. I bolted for the restroom, retching until only bitter bile remained. Leaning against the wall, I faced the mirror. A ghost stared back, pallid, sunken eyes, utterly lifeless. That night, legs like lead, I returned to the gilded cage. Surprisingly, Simon was there. He sat on the sofa, face dark as storm clouds. On the coffee table lay the pawn ticket for my jade bracelets. "You pawned your mother's bracelets?" His eyes were icy shards. I needed money. I met his gaze, no desire to explain. "Suzanne," he shot up, voice razor sharp with scorn, "that desperate? Or are you funneling money to some inappropriate person?" Blood rushed to my head. I trembled, wanting to scream, but my throat locked. He didn't believe me. He never had. My words were always lies, excuses. He crossed the distance in strides, his rough fingers digging into my jaw, forcing my head up. The pressure threatened bone. "Tell me, where'd the money go?" I wrenched free with surprising force. Staggering back, without a word, I fled to my room. Locking the door, slumping against the cold wood, I curled into a ball, the agony in my gut merging with the tearing ache in my heart. The next morning, Simon's mother, my esteemed mother-in-law, called, her tone brooking no argument. "The Shaw Group annual gala is tonight. You will attend with Simon. The gossip about your marital problems is unacceptable. Make yourself presentable. Silence those tongues." The familiar, gnawing pain started in my gut. I didn't want to go, didn't want to play the happy wife in that viper's nest, but refusal wasn't an option. That afternoon, Simon's assistant delivered a gown, long, elegant cut, a style I once loved. I put it on. The bodice squeezed my chest, stealing my breath, a full size too small. As I tried to take it off, Simon walked in, his eyes raked over me, appraising merchandise. "Wear that." "It's too small," I murmured. "Is it?" He stepped closer, a malicious smirk playing on his lips. His hand pinched my waist hard and intimate. Humiliating gesture. "Seems perfect to me. Fit Anya beautifully too." Again, Anya's cast-offs. Bile surged. I bit my lip hard to keep it down. The gala was a glittering spectacle, a marionette. I numbly clung to Simon's arm, my smile plastered on and aching. He deposited me at the head table, barely seated before he was gone, drawn like a moth to the flame. Anya, in a fiery red gown, commanding every eye. Simon was the moth, immolating himself. All night, he shadowed Anya, introducing her to tycoons, shielding her from predatory toasts, his attentiveness a blinding glare. I sat alone in a shadowed corner, a ghost watching their bright, performative love story. The probing, pitying, scornful glances were knives flaying me alive. The cramps worsened, relentless, violent. Cold sweat soaked my gown. I clenched my fists, nails biting into palms until the metallic tang of blood filled the air. Darkness pulsed at the edges of my vision. I couldn't hold on. Clutching my mouth, I stumbled towards the restroom. I barely made it inside before crashing to my knees on the cold tiles, over the sink. I vomited violently. Not food, bright, shocking gouts of blood splattered the pristine white porcelain. Leaning on the wall, I hold myself up, stars exploding behind my eyes. My steps were unsteady as I emerged. Around the corner, Anya blocked my path, teetering on stilettos. A proud peacock, she sauntered closer. A sweetly poisonous smile, reserved for victors, played on her lips. Sue, darling. Hiding? Simon's looking everywhere for you. She leaned in, her whisper thick with venomous triumph. He adores me, doesn't he? He said he'd give up the entire Shaw empire for me. My vision swam. I swayed, barely staying upright. Oh, poor dear. You look dreadful, like a ghost. She fox gasped, her hand slipped. The entire glass of blood-red wine cascaded over the front of my pale gown, spreading a huge ugly stain. Oh no, Sue darling, I'm so sorry. Truly an accident. Her hand covered her mouth, eyes gleaming with satisfaction. Simon burst in like a whirlwind, his first sight, the ruined front of my dress, and Anya's tearful, deeply wronged expression. He didn't glance at me. He charged, fury radiating. Suzanne, what the hell is wrong with you? He pointed at Anya as if I'd committed murder. Anya was just trying to help. Why'd you push her? Betrayal, rage, despair, they detonated inside me, then burned to cold ash. I looked at his twisted face. Only a vast, dead silence remained. He turned away instantly, cradling Anya, his voice softening to silk. Don't be scared, Anya. I'm here then. Whirling back, he seized my arm, dragging me like trash out of the glittering hall. The ride home was suffocating silence. Back at the cold mausoleum, he flung me into my room, his voice glacial. From now on, you stay here. Think about what you've done. You don't leave. Boom. The door slammed. The sharp snick of the lock engaging echoed after. He locked me in. He stormed back in, snatched my phone. The last fragile thread to the outside world snapped. The mansion became my prison. That night, curled on the bed, pain like white-hot knives twisted in my gut, sweat drenched the sheets. My teeth chattered, too weak to moan. No pills, no water, only darkness and choking despair. Who could I call? Who in this world cared if I lived or died? The next day, the lock turned. Not Simon, his imperious mother. She stood by the bed, looking down at my pallid, sweat-sheened face. No pity, only disgust. Suzanne, you are a profound disappointment. Her voice was ice. That spectacle at the gala. You've shamed the Shaw name. A woman's duty is grace, tolerance. You lack even that. You are unfit. I closed my eyes, too drained to argue. To her, I was always the outsider. Anya was her perfect daughter-in-law. Predictably, she elegantly drew a document from her designer bag and slapped it onto the duvet. A pregnancy test, the name clear. Anya. Anya is carrying Simon's child. Her tone brooked no argument. Shaw blood will not be illegitimate. My mind went blank. Static roared. Pregnant? Anya. Simon's child? A harsh, ugly laugh escaped me. Tears, cold and unbidden, rolled down. I looked at her perfectly preserved, vicious face. So, you're here to evict me? She didn't answer. Instead, she placed another document beside the test divorce papers. The asset division section screamed, "Leave with nothing. Sign it." Her command was brutal. Leave quietly, and I'll give you enough to live on. I looked at the papers, at Simon's flamboyant signature already there. The last ember in my chest died, sinking into an icy abyss. I picked up the pen, my hands shaking violently, summoning all my strength. I scrawled Suzanne Shaw on the line. Simon's mother gathered the papers, mission accomplished, and locked the door behind her. Silence, darkness swallowed me. Pain and utter emptiness collided. Blackness descended. I don't know how long I lay on the cold floor. A sliver of light pierced the dark. I wasn't dead. Instinct made me fight. Like a dying fish, I inched forward. Fingernails scraped the floor, leaving bloody trails. Finally, my hand closed on the spare key hidden deep in the closet. Summoning my last shred of strength, I turned it. Click, the door opened. I escaped. With the crumpled cash left in my pocket, I bought a one-way ticket to the nearest country offering assisted dying. I filled out the forms calmly. Signing the last one brought profound peace. Finally, the end. Emerging from the gray building, I wandered aimlessly. The foreign sun was harsh. I drifted like a ghost, strength leaching away with the fading light. The pain in my gut settled into a deep, numbing throb. My legs gave way. I collapsed into the depths of a dark, deserted alley. half a world away. Simon was celebrating Anya in the city's most exclusive revolving restaurant. He'd booked the entire place. Crystal city lights glittered beyond the panoramic windows. Soft violin music played. Anya nestled in his arms, her smile dripping honey. "Simon, do you think our baby will look more like you? Or like me?" He bent, gently kissing her forehead. "Like you. Definitely." His phone, resting on the snowy tablecloth, vibrated with an unfamiliar international number. Simon frowned, annoyed. "Who is this?" A calm, clear, professionally detached male voice answered. "Mr. Simon Shaw? This is the Country Life Transition Center. We have received the final authorization for assisted dying from your wife, Suzanne Shaw. Before proceeding, our legal protocol requires final confirmation from next of kin. You." "What?" Simon's smile froze, then shattered. His voice shot up, thick with disbelief and terror. "What application?" "Assisted dying?" "Suzanne She." The voice remained steady, repeating the facts. "Ms. Shaw submitted a complete application which has passed all evaluations. Our records indicate she is in the terminal stages of gastric cancer." Simon heard no more. The phone slid from his suddenly nerveless fingers, hitting the plush carpet with a soft thud. All color drained from his face. He staggered back as if punched, colliding with the chair. The screech jarring. "Simon? What's wrong? What happened?" Anya's smile vanished. She reached for him. He shoved her hand away violently. His eyes were hollow, frantic, as if truly seeing Anya and the shadow he'd condemned for the first time, a trapped animal. He made a raw, choking sound, then he whirled and bolted from the golden room, leaving stunned silence and untouched delicacies. I never knew how Simon's world imploded after that. The moment I chose to leave, his existence ceased to matter to mine. I lay in a plain country hospital bed. Outside the window, unfamiliar streets breathed freedom. The air itself felt different, sharper. I had applied. I had been approved. Death was my chosen escape. But fate took a turn. Liam Reed appeared, head of oncology at this renowned cancer research center. A man radiating quiet competence. He frowned deeply at my file, the one pronouncing my death sentence. He insisted on new tests. "Ms. Shaw," he said later, holding fresh scans, his voice steady and compelling. "Your case is unusual, not without hope. We're running a trial for a new targeted therapy, promising results for certain late-stage gastric cancers. Would you consider it?" Live. The word was an ember dropped into the dead lake of my heart, sending ripples I barely dared acknowledge. I chose to try. The treatment was agony. Vomiting, debilitating weakness, clumps of hair falling out. Each chemo session felt like being dismantled and reassembled. When the side effects made me want to quit, Liam would appear. No platitudes. He'd sit quietly, peel an apple, slice it neatly, or, when pain stole sleep, he'd read a soothing poem in his calm, low voice. His presence was a warm, steady light piercing my profound darkness. I imagined Simon's reaction to my disappearance. Rage, surely? Another manipulative ploy? He'd seek solace in Anya. They'd curl up together, mocking my audacity and my stupid disappearing act. The thought still triggered a physical lurch in my gut. But strangely, the turbulent sea of pain he once stirred within me had dried up, utterly still. Then, an encrypted message arrived from an old friend back home. Attached was a grainy video. Simon, a rabid lion, stormed Anya's luxurious apartment, eyes bloodshot. He hurled her designer bags, jewelry, clothes out the window like trash. The footage shook violently, then, him gripping Anya's throat, smashing her face against the cold floor. His voice a ragged snarl. "Tell me, where's Suzanne? What the fuck did you do?" The photos, the texts, was it all you? Anya, mascara streaked, screamed, clawing at his arm. "Simon, listen, I love you. I did it because I love you. I was scared to lose you." "Love?" Simon let out a strangled, bitter laugh, tightening his grip, his eyes blazing with hate. "Your pregnancy test was fake. Your heart condition was fake. Everything. A fucking performance. Anya, you sicken me." He flung her aside like filthy rags, then rampaged through the wreckage. My friend's message followed. "Sue, he's lost it. He found out Anya faked the pregnancy, and that she paid off your first doctor to exaggerate your diagnosis. Your initial prognosis was sabotaged. So, my cancer was severe, but not the hopeless sentence I'd received. Anya had bought that death warrant. She wanted to break me, make me vanish from Simon's world." Watching Anya's ruined, despairing face on the screen, I felt no triumph, only absurdity, a farce reaching its end. I closed the phone, looked out at the blue sky. The door opened softly. Liam entered. He held a new report. A relieved, gentle smile on his face. Suzanne, good news. The latest scans show a significant drop in tumor markers. The spread is controlled. The drug, it's working. I lifted my head. Sunlight streamed through the window, warm on my face. A long-forgotten, feather-light feeling rose from deep within. Living felt good. My phone buzzed again. Same friend. Sue, Simon destroyed Anya. She's ruined. Does he know about your illness now? I didn't reply. My finger hovered. Then tapped delete. 2 years can turn oceans to deserts. I opened a small gallery in a quiet country arts district. Modest, but bright and warm, showcasing talented, unknown artists. Business was steady, enough for a peaceful, comfortable, free life. Under Liam's care and regular checkups, my body performed a miracle. My hair grew back, dark and soft, framing my face. The reflection, though still slender, held healthy color and a light I thought lost. Liam became a fixture at the gallery, and the cornerstone of my life. He helped me hang shows, debating angles. We argued over whose colors were bolder, whose lines held more life. He'd bring warm milk when I stayed up late cataloging. Our bond wasn't fireworks. It was a clear mountain stream, flowing gently, nourishing us both. Life settled into a serene painting. Until Simon appeared, a filthy brushstroke across the canvas. It was a lazy, sun-drenched afternoon. Liam and I stood amidst the gallery, discussing the theme for the next exhibit, surrounded by new abstract pieces. The bell on the glass door jangled violently. A man stumbled in. His suit was rumpled, stained, stubble-covered gaunt cheeks. His eyes were sunken black holes, reeking of decay and alcohol. He bore no resemblance to the polished Simon Shaw I'd known. His bloodshot eyes scanned, instantly locking onto me. Relief, agony, disbelief, and fathomless despair warred within them. The few patrons stared, startled. Ignoring them, he moved like a puppet, stiff and jerky. 3 steps away, his knees buckled. He crashed heavily onto the polished wood floor. Gasps filled the gallery. Sue. His voice was a rusty hinge, thick with unshed tears. I was wrong. So wrong. Come home, please, he begged incoherently, then began slamming his forehead against the floor. Thud, thud, thud. The sickening impacts echoed. Skin split instantly, blood staining the pale wood. I watched, detached, as if observing absurd theater. My heart was a calm, empty plain. No hate, no love, only indifference. Liam stepped forward instantly, his broad frame shielding me completely. His voice cold and firm. Sir, you need to leave, now. Simon jerked his head up. Blood smeared half his face, his red-rimmed eyes fixed on Liam with feral rage. Who the fuck are you? Get out. This is between me and my wife. I stepped out from behind Liam. My gaze settled on the broken man kneeling in his own mess. My voice was flat, stating an irrelevant fact. Mr. Shaw, we are divorced. Legally, nothing binds us. Please, leave me in peace. Simon didn't leave. He became a filthy, stubborn stain on my hard-won peace. He knelt outside the gallery, day and night. Passersby gawked, took pictures. He ignored them. I called the police. They made him leave. But dawn would find him back, kneeling like a specter. He escalated. He followed me, to work. In a beat-up car trailing at a distance. Home, lurking in the shadows near my apartment building. Then, he weaponized the media. Foreign platforms, gossip rags back home, splashed headlines. Devoted tycoon crosses oceans for lost love. Wealthy heartbreak. Misunderstandings keep lovers apart. Heroic CEO pleads for forgiveness. He painted himself the tragic, misunderstood victim. Strangers, swayed by the tale, flooded my gallery's social media. Heartless bitch. He messed up, but he's sorry. Forgive him. Stop playing hard to get. I ignored it. Their noise couldn't touch me now. My world had solid walls. Liam used his connections. We got a restraining order. Simon was warned, barred from approaching. It was just paper to him. He violated it quickly. Late one night, he bypassed security, hammering on my apartment door. His enraged screams echoed down the hall. Sue, open up. I know you're there. See me, see me. The raw insanity in his voice chilled me through the door. I called the police again. This time, he was hauled away, briefly jailed, released. He worsened. His tactics turned petty and vile. He bombarded my gallery partners with calls, smearing my character, hinting at fraud. He even paid sleazy tabloids to publish lurid, fabricated stories about Liam and me, trying to destroy the life I'd built. Liam stood firm, a mountain beside me. Calmly, he leveraged his reputation, contacting partners, providing proof, dispelling lies. His lawyer sent Simon a cease and desist, threatening serious legal action. One storm last night, Liam and I left our favorite restaurant, sharing an umbrella. We walked towards his car. As we reached it, Simon, a soaked, rabid dog, lunged from the dark bushes. His hand clamped onto my wrist like a vice, crushing bone. Sue. He was drenched, rain streaming off his matted hair. His eyes burned with terrifying madness in the gloom. Come home. Now. His voice was hoarse, desperate. If you don't, I'll destroy everything. Your gallery, your life, myself. I swear it. His threat, cold with rain, only felt ludicrous. I met his twisted gaze calmly. Simon, are you finished? Just come home. He tightened his grip, pain shooting up my arm. I'll give you everything. Money, the company, my life. Sue. Liam's face hardened. He moved swiftly, prying Simon's iron fingers off my wrist, pulling me firmly behind him. The gentle doctor was gone. His eyes held cold steel. Mr. Shaw, touch her again, and you will regret it. Defeated physically, Simon resorted to worse. Self-destruction. Another torrential night. He knelt rigidly outside my apartment building. Rain lashed him, from midnight until dawn. Finally, feverish and dehydrated, he collapsed face down in a puddle. Liam found him leaving for work and called an ambulance in the antiseptic-smelling hospital corridor. I glanced through the door window. He lay on the sterile bed, colorless, a discarded rag doll. I turned and walked away. No pause released. His harassment morphed into psychological torture. New numbers flooded my phone with photos, arms branded with cigarette burns, faces bruised purple from self-inflicted punches, chilling shots of him teetering on high-rise ledges, each accompanied by the same desperate, obsessive text. Sue, come back. I can't take it. What's the point without you? This is the last time, Sue, please. I deleted them coldly, blocked each number. His persistence was a buzzing fly, repulsive, irritating. The last time was the most deranged. He breached security again, waited in the shadows outside my door. Liam and I stepped off the elevator. He stood there under the harsh corridor light. He held a gleaming kitchen knife, the sharp point pressed hard against his own pulsing throat. Suzanne? He rasped my name, each syllable grating. His eyes were terrifyingly empty, filled only with pure, annihilating madness. Last chance. Are you coming home? He took a step forward. The blade bit deeper, a crimson line blooming. Say no, and I bleed out right here. The metallic tang of blood seemed to fill the air. Liam tensed, ready to move. I remained unnervingly calm. I stepped back deliberately, putting Liam's solid frame fully between us. Safe, then? I lifted my eyes, meeting Simon's desperate, hollow stare. My voice was soft, clear, utterly devoid of fear or care. Be my guest? 2 words, light as falling feathers, but they struck like poison ice daggers, shattering the last brittle shell of his madness. The knife trembled violently in his white-knuckled grip. He stared at me, at the genuine, unfeigned, absolute indifference etched on my face. The frenzy in his eyes cracked, crumbled, turned to dead ash. He finally understood. I truly did not care. His life, his pain, his pleas, were irrelevant dust from a past life. Ha ha ha. A broken, despairing laugh tore from him, echoing horribly down the empty hall. The knife clattered to the floor, a sharp, final sound, like a puppet with cut strings. He swayed, turned, shuffled away, footsteps unsteady, vanishing into the darkness at the corridor's end. His back was bent, aged decades in moments. Liam gripped my hand tightly. His palm was warm, grounding. He searched my face, deep concern and lingering shock in his eyes. Sue, back there, you really didn't care? What if he'd? I turned to him, a faint, utterly serene smile touching my lips. I shook my head gently. Liam, I said, my gaze drifting past him to the vast, free sky beyond the window. Do you think someone who's already crossed over cares about such pointless noise? Simon never appeared again. Life finally settled, filtered clear, peaceful. Liam and I built the gallery up. We discovered brilliant young artists, held successful solo shows. Our little space gained recognition. In our free time, we traveled, chased the northern lights across Iceland's snowy wastes, dove in Southeast Asia's crystal seas, surrounded by jeweled fish, slept under Africa's infinite stars, wrapped in blankets. Listening to distant roars, my world grew vast, luminous, vibrant. A year later, on a quiet afternoon, a final message arrived from my old friend. She said before Simon vanished completely, he'd sold all his Shaw Group shares for a pittance. He'd dumped the astronomical sum into a new trust fund. The beneficiary, Suzanne Shaw. Her message was tinged with pity, guilt, maybe, or a last flicker of conscience. I contacted my lawyer immediately. My instructions were cold, precise. Return every cent. Freeze the account. That money, soaked in betrayal, humiliation, and belated remorse, was poison, utterly meaningless, a past I'd buried. Simon's fate became a mystery. Rumors swirled. Some said the final blows broke him. He was locked away in a posh, secluded asylum, clutching a dirty pillow. He'd rock endlessly, muttering my name to the walls. Others whispered that on a night of thunder and lashing rain, a black car was seen hurtling off a cliff into the churning sea below the very spot where he'd once held Anya, watching fireworks light up the sky. The car was dredged up, empty. He was gone, swallowed by the furious ocean. I read the long message. My finger hovered over the screen for a moment, then I pressed delete. My life's canvas was filled with new, brilliant hues. The past, joy or sorrow, was faded newsprint, not worth a second glance. The day was glorious. I sat on a lounger in the gallery's sun-drenched conservatory, warm. Early autumn light streamed through the glass ceiling, wrapping me in drowsy comfort. Liam brought 2 steaming mugs of floral tea. The delicate scent filled the air. He settled naturally on the lounger beside me. Handing me a cup, he smelled of clean cotton and rain-fresh earth. "You seemed lost in thought earlier," he said softly, taking a sip. "What was on your mind?" I relaxed, leaning my head against his warm, solid shoulder. My gaze lifted to the cloudless, perfect blue sky. I felt the reassuring warmth of his hand. I smiled, breathing in the tea's fragrant steam. "I was thinking," I said, turning to meet his gentle, smiling eyes. "Where should we go next?" That's all for today's story. Thank you for listening. This is when love turns into harm. The tales I share, drawn from life or woven from imagination, are meant to offer you connection, reflection, and perhaps solace or newfound strength. If you long to see your own reflection in others' journeys, or seek a glimmer of light within the maze of emotions, subscribe to When Love Turns into Harm. Listen with your heart. Explore the stories of life.